If you are on SNAP, if you rely on food assistance to keep groceries in the house, I have breaking news for you today. And for once, it's not fear, it's not panic, it's actually good news. Here's what just happened. 2 different federal judges stepped in and told the administration that the money for SNAP has to go out, even though the federal government is still shut down and the normal funding for these benefits was cut off. That means help is on the way for millions of Americans who were just told there would be no benefits for November. Now, I need you to stay with me because I'm going to walk you through 3 things that matter to you and your kitchen. First, how we got here, why people on SNAP were told no money this month. Second, what the courts just forced the administration to do and what the president said in response, because that part is important. Third, very practical, what certain states are doing right now so you're not left with an empty fridge while Washington argues about legal authority and budget rules. We're going to talk about real help you can actually get this week. My name is Dr. Alex Morgan. This is America in Context, where we talk honestly about how money, policy, and real life intersect for regular Americans, seniors, veterans, working families, caregivers. I've spent more than 2 decades studying federal benefits, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to translate Washington into plain English, so you know what's happening and what you can do about it. And I'd like to do something small, just between us. In the comments, tell me your state. You don't have to leave your full name. You don't have to say anything personal. Just say something like Virginia or Texas or California. I want to see where this community is watching from, because what I'm about to tell you depends a lot on where you live. All right, let's get into how we got here. A lot of people woke up and heard, SNAP is paused. Food stamps are not going out on November 1st. There is no funding. You might get nothing. That message didn't come from rumor. It came from the federal government. During the shutdown, the Department of Agriculture told the states not to load November SNAP benefits because there's no approved money for it. The simple version is this. When the government shuts down, certain programs stop getting normal funding, and SNAP was about to be one of those programs. The problem is, SNAP is not some side program. SNAP is how roughly 42 million Americans buy food. That is about 1 out of every 8 people in this country. We're not just talking about young, single, lazy people. That's the stereotype some people love to repeat. We're talking about seniors on fixed income. We're talking about disabled Americans. We're talking about people who served in the military and are now struggling to pay rent and buy groceries at the same time. We're talking about parents who are already skipping meals so their kids can eat first. When you cut SNAP, you are not trimming waste. You are cutting meals from real human beings. That's why this next part matters. The states did not just sit and accept that order. Attorneys general from a group of states went to federal court and said, this is illegal. The argument was simple. Congress already set aside money in what's called a contingency fund. That is emergency money. The state said, this is an emergency. Use the emergency money. And here is where things started to move. In Massachusetts, a federal judge said, basically, this situation absolutely looks like an emergency, and the administration should not be allowed to just stop feeding people because of a shutdown fight in Washington. Almost at the same time, within an hour, another federal judge in Rhode Island said the same thing. You cannot just shut off food assistance for tens of millions of people and say, sorry, no funding. You have to use the emergency reserves that already exist. Let's pause on that. 2 different courts, 2 different states. Same message. Use the money. Feed people. Do it now. The number the courts talked about is billions. We're not talking about a tiny local pantry budget. We're talking about a pot of money Congress set aside exactly for moments like this. Moments where normal government functions break down, but people still need to eat. So at this point you might be thinking, great, done, problem solved. Everybody gets their benefits right now. I wish I could tell you it's that simple. It's not that simple. Here's why. Even with those rulings, there are 2 problems. First, the systems that send SNAP money to your EBT card are run by the states, using vendors and payment schedules that are set up in advance. When the USDA told states, don't send benefits for November, a lot of those systems froze. You can't just flip a light switch on a program that serves over 40 million people. States need time to re-enable the pipelines, test the uploads, and schedule the deposits. Even the judges who ruled in favor of continuing SNAP said this will still take time to actually reach people. Second problem, the White House response. After the rulings, the president said publicly that he is willing to pay SNAP, that he does not want Americans going hungry, and that if the court gives clear legal direction, he will authorize the release of funds. That sounds like good news, because it means the door is open. But it also means this. The lawyers inside the administration are still saying, we're not sure we're allowed to do this under shutdown law without more clarity from the court. So, yes, the court said you must. Yes, the president said I'm willing. But in the short term, there is still paperwork, legal back and forth, and system work at the state level before that money shows up on every card. That's the honest truth. Now, if I ended the video right here, I would be doing something I personally hate. I'd be giving you stress without giving you options. I don't do that. So now we're going to talk about the most important part. What different states are doing on their own to keep you from falling off a cliff while Washington finishes arguing. Because this is the part that can actually help you today. In several states, governors and city leaders have already stepped in and said, we're not waiting, we're going to feed our people. Some states are treating this like a formal emergency and using state money to keep SNAP going for at least part of the month. Other states are pumping millions into food banks or loading temporary cards just to bridge the gap until the federal money lands. I'm going to walk through examples. Listen for your state or a neighbor state, because in some cases you can cross county lines and still get help. Virginia. The governor in Virginia declared a state-level emergency and said the state will continue paying SNAP during the shutdown using state funds. That's a big deal, because it means people there should still see benefits without having to wait for federal clarification. Louisiana. Louisiana declared an emergency and said, we're going to keep funding SNAP through the first days of November using state resources. The message from that state was basically, we are not going to let people immediately lose food access because Washington is stuck. New York. New York committed tens of millions of dollars to keep meals flowing to low-income households and seniors in the state. We're talking about millions of meals that get covered using state money, local money, and emergency funds. That is direct, immediate food on plates. Colorado, Minnesota, Vermont. States like these are sending money into food bank networks and community partners so pantries can stay open longer hours, buy more groceries, and get those groceries straight into the hands of families that were expecting their normal SNAP load on the first of the month. San Francisco. Some local governments, like the city of San Francisco, are even preparing to send preloaded cards to residents who would normally get SNAP. In plain English, that means, here is a card with money for groceries. Use this until your normal benefits arrive. Texas. Texas is exploring ways to connect families to emergency nutrition aid and, in some areas, looking at whether the state can tap emergency funds to hold people over. It's not finalized at the same level as Virginia, but it's on the table. You'll notice something important here. This is not just blue states do this, red states do that. You've got Virginia, you've got Louisiana, you've got New York, you've got Texas, you've got cities stepping in, you've got rural states stepping in. Hunger is not a left or right issue. Hunger is a human issue. And governors in both parties understand that if people cannot afford food, the pressure explodes everywhere else. Clinics, hospitals, shelters, crime, mental health, all of it. Let's slow down and talk about what this means for you, right now, this week. First, do not assume your benefits are gone forever. That is not what's happening. Courts have already said that SNAP has to be paid. The argument now is timing and process, not whether you deserve to eat. Second, check your EBT balance more than once. Some states are loading partial benefits first. In other words, instead of one full month on day one, you might see a smaller amount come through, then another amount later in the month once the legal mess is settled. Third, call or look up your state's Department of Human Services or Department of Social Services, whatever your state calls it. Many states are posting emergency guidance right now that says where you can pick up bridge assistance, food bank locations, pop-up distribution sites, church partnerships, pantry hours, city-level grocery cards. A lot of this support doesn't require you to fill out a brand new application because you're already on SNAP and they know you're eligible. Fourth, do not be embarrassed to use these services. Please hear me on this. You didn't do something wrong. Food prices have gone up, rent is up, gas is up, utilities are up. And on top of that, we're in a political fight in Washington that froze one of the only programs that keeps millions of low-income seniors and disabled adults from literal hunger. You are not the problem in this story. You are the reason this system exists. Now I want to shift gears for a moment and talk directly to everyone watching who is 60, 65, 70 and older. Because while we're dealing with SNAP and food assistance, there's another deadline happening at the same exact time. Medicare open enrollment. Every single year, I see the same mistake. People just auto-renew their plan because they're tired, they're overwhelmed, and they assume nothing major changed. And then, in January, they find out something did change. The specialist they see every 3 months is no longer in network. The prescription that used to cost them a few dollars now costs way more. Or a benefit they counted on, vision, dental, transportation, quietly got dropped. That's not a small problem. For older Americans, being in the wrong Medicare plan can cost thousands in out-of-pocket costs in a single year. And worse, it can cost you care when you actually need care. The truth is, Medicare is complicated on purpose. Plans compete for you, marketing is loud, fine print is quiet, and there are call centers out there that will happily push you into whatever plan pays them the best commission, even if that plan is not the best one for you. We've seen lawsuits over this. We've seen federal complaints. We've seen entire companies get in trouble for steering seniors into bad coverage just to get paid. I want you to protect yourself from that. So here's what I tell everybody who's in this age group, including people in my own family. Do not auto-renew without having somebody neutral look at your plan. And by neutral, I mean somebody who can compare every plan available to you in your zip code, not just the handful they personally sell. A real advisor should be able to tell you one of two things. 1. You're already in the best plan for your situation. Stay where you are. You're good. Or 2. You're overpaying. Here's another plan that covers your doctors, covers your meds, and costs you less each month. That second sentence, costs you less each month, is the difference between affording groceries and skipping meals. So yes, SNAP matters. Yes, food assistance matters. But the plan you're on for Medicare, that matters too. Because if you're leaking money through a bad plan all year, the stress never stops. Before we wrap up, let me bring this all together, because I know this has been a lot. Number 1, courts have ordered the administration to keep paying SNAP using emergency funds. The judges called this an emergency, and they're treating it like one. Number 2, the president has said he does not want Americans going hungry, and has asked government lawyers to get legal clarity so those funds can flow. That means the door is open, not closed. Number 3, states are already stepping in. In some places, you will still get your SNAP from state money. In other places, you'll get temporary grocery help through food banks or even preloaded cards until the federal benefits hit. Number 4, while this plays out, check your benefits more than once, and do not be afraid to use local emergency food resources. That is what they are there for. Number 5, if you are on Medicare right now, please review your plan before you let it roll over. The plan you pick decides how much you keep and how safe you are when you need care. Let me leave you with this. We are living through a strange moment in America. We have one of the largest economies on earth, and at the same time we have seniors, veterans, single parents, people with disabilities, people who did everything the system told them to do, still asking, am I going to be able to eat next week? That is not just politics. That is dignity. And dignity matters. You deserve answers in plain English. You deserve to know what's coming before it hits your wallet. And you deserve leaders who understand that hunger is not a talking point. Hunger is personal. This is why America in Context exists. Not for drama, for clarity. So here's what I want you to do. If this helped you today, subscribe to this channel. Hit like. Share this with somebody who is stressed right now about their November benefits so they can breathe for a second and hear that help is actually moving. And in the comments, tell me your state. I'm watching those comments, and I'm going to keep tracking which states are stepping up, which states are paying SNAP out of emergency money, and which areas are handing out grocery cards while the legal fight continues. You are not alone in this. You are not invisible, and you deserve to eat. This is America in Context. I'm Dr. Alex Morgan. Stay safe, take care of each other, and I'll talk to you in the next video.